Have you ever promised yourself, tomorrow I'll wake up early, but then the alarm goes off and you press snooze again and again, only to spend the whole day feeling behind, apologizing, and catching up? What if I told you the real reason life feels out of control isn't because of big problems, but because of one small habit that keeps repeating? If you felt that way, then let me tell you about a man named Alan. His story is one of those stories we've all been a part of, the kind where you try to change, but your habits always seem to win. In the small town of Riverside, there lived a father named Alan. He wasn't lazy. He loved his wife, Emma, and his daughter, Lily. He wanted to be the kind of man his family could trust. But there was one thing that always held him back. He couldn't wake up early. Every night, he promised himself, "I'll go to sleep soon." But the minutes slipped by as he mindlessly scrolled on his phone. And before he knew it, morning came, and that same dreaded alarm at 6:30 blared like an enemy. Snooze, 5 more minutes. Snooze, 10 more minutes. And suddenly, it was 7:40 a.m. Alan would leap out of bed in panic, his stomach dropping as if he'd just fallen from a height. He brushed his teeth, threw on his clothes, and ran out the door. No breakfast, no time to think. He worked as a delivery driver for a local print shop. The job wasn't hard, but timing mattered. One Tuesday, his manager said, "Alan, those posters needed to be there by 8. You got there at 9. We lost the client." Alan promised, "It won't happen again," but it did. A week later, he was late again, and the manager finally said, "I can't trust you anymore. I'm sorry." Alan walked home with an empty lunch bag, the weight of failure heavy on his chest. He felt like the whole town could see it. At home, Emma didn't shout. She knew yelling wouldn't pay the rent. Instead, she simply asked, "What now?" Alan's voice cracked as he answered, "I'll find another job." But even to himself, his words didn't sound strong. That evening, Lily came home from school with glitter on her hands, excitement sparkling in her eyes. "Dad, next Friday is the spring assembly. I'm singing on stage. Miss Parker said parents have to come early. The gate closes at 8:20, and no one can get in after that. Dad, please come. Please don't be late." Alan smiled, but inside, fear gripped him. He knew his own history too well. Still, he looked at Lily and said, "I promise I'll be there early." The next day, Lily had a short practice, and parents could watch. Alan told himself, "I'll be on time. I have to be." But that morning, the snooze button won again. He rushed to the school, only to see the doors closing. Lily stood inside, holding her song paper, her eyes scanning the crowd. When she saw him, her smile faded. She didn't cry. She just looked down, turned away. That quiet moment hurt Alan more than losing his job. In the car, Emma remained silent for a long time. Then she whispered, "You didn't just miss a practice, Alan. You missed her trust." That night, Alan couldn't sleep. Lily's face kept haunting him. Around 5:15 a.m., he sat up in bed, whispering to himself, "I can't live like this anymore." He stepped outside, and the street was quiet, as though the town was still dreaming. The air was cold and crisp, the world slow and peaceful. On the corner, the Early Bird Cafe was already open, with a warm yellow light in the window. Alan had passed it countless times, but never this early. Inside, an older man was setting out cups. He looked up and said, "Morning, you're up early. That's rare around here." Alan gave a tired smile. "I didn't plan it. I just couldn't sleep." The man poured tea. "Sit. You look like you're carrying a stone in your chest." Alan sat down, cradling the warm cup. His shoulders relaxed for the first time all week. The man smiled and said, "I'm Mr. Reed." "Alan." Mr. Reed studied him for a moment. "Late mornings, right?" Alan blinked, surprised. "How did you know?" Mr. Reed pointed to his face. "That look, the look of someone always catching up." Alan exhaled and shared everything. The lost job, the pressure of bills, the broken promise to Lily. "Next Friday is her big day. The gate closes at 8:20. I promised I'd be in the front row, but I'm scared I'll fail again." Mr. Reed nodded and said, "People think waking up early is about success, but really it's about control. When you wake up late, your day starts in panic, and panic makes you stupid. When you wake up early, your day starts with space, and space makes you smart." Alan asked, "But how do I do it when my body refuses?" Mr. Reed leaned closer, speaking simply. 1. Sleep earlier. 2. Keep your phone far from your bed. 3. Put water beside it. 4. Prepare your clothes the night before. 5. In the morning, write one small plan before you start your day. He pulled out a small notebook and showed him 3 lines. Must do, must not do. Grateful for. "This takes 10 minutes, Mr. Reed said. "But it changes your thinking. It turns you from a man who reacts to a man who chooses." Alan stared at the notebook. Then he whispered, "I want to choose. I'm tired of being sorry." From that day on, Alan practiced. On Thursday, he placed his phone across the room and put a glass of water beside it. When the alarm rang at 6 o'clock, his body begged him to stay down. But he forced his feet onto the cold floor, walked to the phone, turned it off, and drank the water. The cold air shocked his mind awake. He didn't feel powerful, just uncomfortable. But for the first time in a while, he felt new. He started the day without shame. He wrote in his notebook, "Must do, look for work, must not do, hit snooze, grateful for, another chance." Later that day, he visited 2 shops. One owner said, "Come back later." Another said, "Not hiring." But even bad answers felt easier without the rush. By Friday, Alan woke early again. He helped Mr. Reed at the cafe for 2 hours in exchange for breakfast and a little cash. Mr. Reed smiled. "You came on time. That's how trust starts." Thursday night, the night before Lily's spring assembly, Alan prepared like a man on a mission. His phone was charged, a backup alarm was set, clothes were ready, and shoes were by the door. The paper flower was on top of his keys. He wrote the plan: 6 o'clock wake, 6:30 breakfast, 7:10 leave, 7:40 arrive, 8:20 gate closes. That night, he went to bed early. When worry tried to keep him awake, he whispered, "I'll be there." At 5:52 a.m., Alan woke up before the alarm. He felt proud and reached for his phone. The battery was at 2%. Old Alan would have panicked. New Alan plugged it in and said, "We have time." He got up, drank water, washed his face, ate toast, and picked up his keys. At 7:05 a.m., the first problem arrived. Rain. Heavy rain. But Alan wasn't afraid. He had left early. At the bus stop, a sign said, "Main road closed, detour." The bus came late, but Alan stayed calm. He got off the bus in the rain and walked the rest of the way. At 8:02, he finally saw the school gate. He was early, 15 minutes early. He walked through the gate calmly, nodded at the guard, and went inside. The teacher, Miss Parker, was surprised. "Thank you," she said. "Most people rush and don't see anything." Lily saw Alan in the front row. Her smile lit up the room. He held up the paper flower. She gasped. "You remembered." Later, Mr. Bennett, a delivery company owner, offered him a job. You look like someone who can handle early mornings." Alan smiled, realizing how far he'd come in such a short time. That day, he told Mr. Reed everything. The rain, the broken bus, the closed road, the front row seat, Lily's smile, and Mr. Bennett's card. Mr. Reed listened and asked, "What did you learn?" Alan smiled and said, "Waking up early didn't stop the rain. It didn't fix the bus. But it gave me time, and time gave me choices, and choices gave me a win." If Alan's journey resonated with you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Remember, it's not about being perfect. It's about making progress. Stay patient, stay focused, and take control of your mornings. See you next time with more stories to inspire you.